India has a rich and varied tradition of performing arts. Folk dances, theatre, oral storytelling, music, and classical dance forms like Bharatnatyam, Odissi, Kuchipudi, and so on.
Over the years, dancers and performers, earlier shunned by society, have gained respectability, acceptance, and recognition for their valuable contribution towards the cultural growth of society. Performers are now considered to be cultural ambassadors and have been given their place of pride in the world of art. While most artists continue to explore their art form within the traditional parameters laid down thousands of years ago in Natya Shastra, there are some who want to move ahead and contemporize. Dr. Mallika Sarabhai, the celebrated exponent of Bharatnatyam and Kuchipudi dance forms, is one of those rare performers who, after having mastered the traditional, has decided to use her talent and expertise to go beyond performing for performance sake.
Everything is here, and then it lets out a heart-rending shriek.
Daughter of the illustrious Mrinalini Sarabhai, India's leading exponent of Bharatnatyam, and Dr. Vikram Sarabhai, India's foremost nuclear scientist, Mallika grew up in an environment rich in art and social consciousness.
Our parents always made us feel that we were part of a unit. So whatever happened to the unit happened to all four of us, whether it was positive or negative. And there was never a feeling of competition. There was always a feeling of sharing, of saying, look, I have done this because I love you so much. Or look, I have achieved this because I love you so much. So I don't, in fact, ever remember feeling, oh my God, I've got to do better than them. Oh my God, what will people say? I'm Mrinalini's daughter and I'm such a failure, or anything like that. What did happen very often is that people's expectations of you changed. But because we had such an ongoingly open relationship with my parents, they made sure that that wasn't a hindrance. When I did feel some kind of, not a pressure, but an unfairness, was when I was older and I was in college, which was the first time I was in a competitive situation, youth college, intercollegiate competitions and entrance tests and so on. And if one didn't do well, people would say, oh, it's because their parents didn't pull strings. If one did do well, they say, oh, it's because she's Mrinalini's daughter or because it was Vikram's daughter. And that took some getting used to. Our school was amazing. You know, my school is a school called Shreyas, which was started off by Papa's older sister, Leena Mangaldas. It was the first Montessori school where Madame Montessori actually came to set it up. And it was about the most non-competitive and pro-cooperative school you can imagine. We were 6 or 8 in a class. We never realized that the world saw the two genders differently. We never realized that the world saw religions differently, or that the world saw castes as castes or classes as classes. And we spent all our time in this sort of idealistic world where everybody did everything and everything was okay, as long as you were honest about it and committed about it. We were told that there was no work that was high or lowly. And we did everything from cleaning the grounds to cleaning the loos. We came from a very austere family where the feeling was that whatever wealth there was in trust, being passed through us to try and use for society. I think I started learning dance because I was the only one from my friends who didn't. All my friends used to come to Amma to learn, and I just felt very left out, so I used to learn. But I was a very desultory learner. Dancing was far too much hard work. I was a lazy child physically. I would much rather have been on stage doing theatre where I didn't have to sweat so much. But I continued learning. I always knew I didn't want to dance professionally. And it was not till much later, after I had finished my MBA and PhD and was going through an extremely unhappy love affair, that I woke up one day saying, you know, what am I doing? I want to dance. And for Amma, it was a great second innings, if you like, because my father had died a few years ago. And Papa was so much a partner for Amma in her dance career that she had somehow lost her will to dance when Papa died.
I think we all took it very hard because it was so unexpected. But I think they matured a lot at that time and helped me a great deal. Both the children helped me a great deal for that difficult time.
A few years later, when I came back into dancing, and as a matter of fact, the piece that we were rehearsing, Mira, was the first time that Amma and I ever danced together. And the piece represents the two faces of Mira, the inside face and the outside face.
Is the inner Mira and the outer Mira. Sometimes what we think we're doing outside, we have a facade of a certain position, a certain, you know, face to the world. And the other face is what you really feel within.
But Amma and I, when we performed it in September '76, it was the first time that a mother and daughter were dancing together or performing together. And that was really my initiation into the passion of dancing. And I'm still here. My attitude towards creativity is, in some senses, a very Indian attitude, which is that creation comes out of ananda and bliss, not out of angst and depression, which is the Stanislavski technique of, you have to be like this. And
Mallika continued to perform classical dance until 1984. She was then approached by Peter Brooks to play the role of Draupadi in his play The Mahabharat. It was this experience that gave her a different perspective on performing arts.
I think it was a battle of wills. it was also that Peter had selected me because I was Indian, I was articulate, I was educated, and therefore knew the Mahabharata. In the beginning, I was this new young thing that he was giving a break to. At some stage, I started realizing that the audiences were reacting to me and that I was a pivotal part. And that changed many things. But it also changed the way I looked at myself. Till then, I had always seen myself as the perfect clay for Amma's modeling, the perfect medium for people's creativity. I always thought of myself as somebody who couldn't stand on my own feet, couldn't stand by my own convictions, couldn't stand against the entire world if I believed in something. And all that happened within me. I came out of Peter Brook's Mahabharata and said I can't go back to being a Bharatanatyam dancer and an activist. I have a lot to say. Draupadi has shown me that the arts are perhaps the greatest tool for communication. And I think I feel the need to somehow intervene to open windows. The futility of people's behavior towards others, the hatred, the fear, the fundamentalism, the bigotry, the insecurity that leads us to be so cruel and so violent to other human beings. And the fear in which most people live, the fear of change, the fear of the unknown.
Using her dance as a medium of communication, Mallika chooses social issues as subjects and choreographs a dance to make people sit up and think. Her pieces are searing indictments of the evils prevalent in society, be it violence and discrimination against women, the thoughtless destruction of the environment, or even the spread of AIDS.
The people who wrote the myths or told them to us were men. The pundits who interpreted them were men. The kings who saw to it that they reached different paths were men. Today, the judges who decide whether our behavior is honorable or whether showing an elbow means you can be raped are men.
The other thing that makes me create is the opposite, which is the sheer excitement of music and rhythm. I rarely create because I see a visual idea. I see visual ideas when I hear something. And all the happy pieces, when I say happy in the sense of not issue-based, all the happy pieces I have created come out of listening to a rhythm or listening to a piece of music or hearing a fragment and saying, I want to do something. I can see myself moving, I can see images.
After 5 years of touring the world with Peter Brooks, Mallika returned home determined to give back to society what she had the privilege to inherit. Using the platform of Darpana, a dance school founded by her mother in 1949, Mallika evolved new and experimental methods of communication using performing arts. Under Darpana for Development, Mallika has created a range of projects dealing with social problems. Water conservation, alcoholism, environmental degradation, and atrocities against women are some of these issues. Her method of involving the tribals, the slum dwellers, and other locals in the performances ensures that this movement is self-sustaining and will continue even without her direct involvement. Mallika realized the need to communicate in the local languages in order to make the maximum impact. The use of their own culture to transform their social habits was one of her innovative methods to reform the people. Thus, she trained them to be both performers and reformers. The ancient art of puppet theater has also been revived by Mallika. Today she's using it as yet another effective tool of communication.
तो मर्द पिशाच क्यों नहीं होता है? हाँ, वहाँ का ओझा और लोग कहते
Oh, I think it has done a great deal for social change. Even our dance dramas, as I told you about dowry deaths and so on, have been all over India. And I think it created quite a question kind of thing in many people's minds in Kerala, in Madras. In fact, even editorials were written about it, perhaps for the first time, saying that dance can be a wonderful social consciousness, can be shown through dance. I think she'll use dance where it's necessary, she'll use drama where it's necessary. I don't think she has quite the one-track mind on dance that I have. She has also her father's idea of development. And so I think, as I say, I think it's enriched. It may not be a dance form, but I think everything she uses to help her. She uses drama a great deal, sometimes even more than dance. So I think she will just use the arts because that is her background.
I froze, couldn't scream, couldn't shout, couldn't do anything. If you say anything about this, that's the end of your job, huh? I'm a Brahmin and an officer. I'll say you do it with everybody.
Well, in some aspects, there's a synergy. If you have the clarity what you want to do, and then you bring in the experts or people who know how to do these things, then you become a catalyst in creating things which you want to do. So I think that is what really I think Mallika is doing.
Mallika's constant process of innovation and fusion techniques led her to create Shakti, the power of women. Shakti gave a fresh perspective to mythological, historical, and contemporary female figures. Mallika's women are strong and individualistic, not meek and servile. She wants the people who watch her performances to sit up and think and to act.
Violence. It's in your DNA. Violent. As a child, he used to try and...
Not satisfied with only the performing arts as a means of communication, Mallika and her ex-husband Vipin started Mappin Publishing in order to publish art books exclusively.
I realized that we have such a rich treasure of arts and crafts, and we don't have really much documentation in that area. And Mallika was already doing something related to Indian design. So it's sort of a natural outcome of that to see that to do something related to arts. And then over a period of time it has grown into crafts and design and architecture, museum collections in India and overseas, and documentation of exhibition catalogs for international museums.
I'm an immediate person. I don't have a past and I don't have a future. So if you say to me, what are the mountains you want to climb in 3 years? to me, today excites me. What I'm doing today excites me and gives me the energy to do what I'm doing today.
Mallika the dance use, Mallika the publisher, Mallika the actress, Mallika the anchor, Mallika the theater person, Mallika the social activist. Does all this paint a confusing picture? Who is Mallika?
No, don't try and bracket me. I think if anything, Mallika is a communicator of ideas, a communicator with passion, and a communicator who uses every language in her book and learns more that aren't in her book.
Over the years, Mallika Sarabhai has matured from a rebellious youngster to a woman who has expanded her vision to include the larger social issues affecting the people of the world.
In her own words, art reflects life, and it has to lead the way to issues that other people don't know how to touch.